Good morning again, everyone. Uh, yes, it's a brand new day. It's a day to be excited because it's a brand new day. And in this now moment, everything is calm and everything is good and everything feels good. So, thank you to those of you that popped in on my first episode as we journey together into understanding why we're here, perhaps. That might be one way of saying it, understanding our personal journey. And I'm hoping by sharing aspects of my journey that it is going to resonate with some of you and maybe, help you along this journey because, boy, sacred geometry has been set in motion by our great creator, God, source, universe, all that is for a reason. Uh, and one of the biggest things I have learned is that life happens for me and not to me. Let me say that again. Life happens for me, but not to me. Now, I didn't know that this was true my entire life. I didn't see it because I operated from autopilot most of my life. Uh, 95% of our mind is subconscious, only 5% is conscious awareness. So, our breathing and all the things going on in our body, we don't have to think about those things. When we're driving to places that we have been going to for years, we might even get into a small trance and miss an exit because we've been driving the road for years. And so, we're thinking about to do lists. So, we spend a lot of our time on autopilot. And that's how I lived a lot of my life. I learned from a very young age to live outside of myself and live for other people because for me, that was how I chose to cope with life. To feel safe in my family of origin. I learned that it was best for me to be quiet, to not share my emotions because nobody had room for them in my world. And we didn't show a lot of emotions in my family, except for anger. There was tended to be an underlying tension of anger or frustration or just this atmosphere of tension. And so for me, I was not liking any conflict. And so I grew up Catholic in this space of being obedient, following the rules, and doing what I was told. And I did that until I was about 12 and 13. And then I really decided that it was time for me to have some autonomy, to make some of my own decisions. I grew up in an authoritarian household. For those of you that don't know authoritarian is just a very strict household. The parents are in charge. The children don't really have a voice. There's not a give and take. There's do what I say, because I said so. No, just a lot of phrasing and ways that I didn't have choice. And one look from my mother could snap me back in line until I was about 12 years old and I decided to be more autonomous. Autonomous meaning I wanted to make my decisions. I wanted to choose where I was going, what I was wearing, pardon me, what my hair would look like. And so I started running away. I just started really not listening to my mother or my father, and I just wanted to have some fun. Uh, so, but that backfired because I had resentment towards my parents at that time. And again, I was on autopilot, taking care of, everyone else around me while still trying to find my own space at that time. I just wanted space. So I made some poor choices at the time with my resentment, caused me to be put into a youth shelter for a few months for the summer to give my parents a break. But it also got me my very first counselor at 14 years old. And having that counselor, I finally had someone where I had a voice that wanted to hear what I had to say about my life, that validated the feelings that I was having at the time. I still remember her name, and I will always be thankful for that. And as I look back in my life, this is a prime example of that life was happening for me, not to me. That even in my attempts to find autonomy and making poor choices legally as a youthful offender, I got a therapist. And somebody saw me. I don't hold my parents at fault for not having emotional maturity. I know part of that's a generation, but I also validate myself that as the eldest, the experimental child, the one that didn't grow up in a child-proofed home, the one that had to sit under 2 years old with an angry mother staring her down for a incident that she thought I had hurt my little baby brother, but I didn't, and she figured it out. But these left imprints in me, these left pain that I had to somehow deal with. And it was through this and the fact that we couldn't show emotions that I learned that it's best that I don't think about myself, but rather I think about others. And the Catholic Church that I grew up in, and what we learned there, again, was another set of rules from another authoritarian source, really, that told us, don't do this, do this. You have to get confession. You have to go to church every Sunday. You have to honor your mother and father. It just gave a lot of rules. And so there was this authority all over my life in the beginning of my life. And so looking back where I am now, and you'll see more as we work together, it was happening for me and not to me. Even though I was born into a family that didn't know how to show emotion, with a very nervous and anxious mother, and a father that only knew how to provide financially but could not connect emotionally. I was never daddy's little girl. Even though that happened, I know life happened for me and not to me. And we're going to talk more about that again soon. So again, blessings to you, all of you. May your day be amazing as you are. May the joy overfill, and may you find your way. Namaste.